The question here is, what is the difference between an incentive and an inducement? Very important topic. Okay. An incentive is something that a brokerage will offer to bring business to the brokerage. Important key point here, brokerage is offering the incentive. Real estate associates are not able to offer the incentive on their own. Brokerage needs to have a marketing plan around it. And the whole goal is that everybody, all real estate professionals in that brokerage are able to offer the incentive. So again, incentive is something that is offered to bring business into the brokerage. So that means the brokerage may have an incentive running where they will say anybody who lists their property with us in the next 60 days will be entered into a draw to win a trip to Hawaii. That's an example of an incentive. Or anybody who lists the property with us, we will put them into a contest to win barbecue, for example. So incentives could be anything that is offered. It could be air miles points, it could be a vacation, it could be a draw of any kind. So basically, anything that the brokerage is offering to attract business would be considered an incentive. It has to be offered by the brokerage, and the brokerage is the one fulfilling the incentive as well. So it will be the brokerage who will pay for the trip to send whoever won the trip to Hawaii, for example. So it has to be purchased by the brokerage, it has to be paid for by the brokerage, it has to be offered by the brokerage, and all real estate agents that are with that brokerage have to be able to offer that incentive. Real estate professionals cannot do that. As a real estate agent, I can advertise on behalf of the brokerage, but I cannot myself say, anybody who lists their property with me in the next 60 days will be entered into a draw for a trip to Hawaii. That will be an inappropriate incentive. So you need to know the difference between appropriate and inappropriate incentive. Okay, so that's your incentive. Now, what is an inducement? An inducement is something that is offered for someone to sign the deal, right? So you are basically asking somebody to be in a particular transaction. So, for example, let's say you're representing the buyers and your buyers really love this property. They have written an offer on the property, but now you're negotiating the offer and there's a bit of a problem. So, let's say they have an old fridge there that they would like the seller to replace, and seller says, nope. I don't want to replace that. It's your problem, right? So whoever buys it, this is the fridge that we are including with that. And let's say this is a big, expensive property. You'll be getting a big commission. You don't want to let go of the deal because this could be a good deal. And it does meet all the requirements that the buyers have, except for that fridge that is old. So what you could do is you may say, you know what, if it's going to cost me $1,000 to get the fridge, why don't I pay for that? Now, that would be considered an inducement, except you cannot do that yourself. That would be an inappropriate inducement. So it's still an inducement, but it's inappropriate inducement. So inducement would be something to sign the deal, right? So to move forward with the transaction. So in this case, it would be an inducement. The problem is inappropriate. So it becomes an appropriate inducement when you go to your broker, you explain the situation to them, you fill out a form, which the broker will sign, you as a real estate agent will sign, and the client will sign. So now you are basically in there, it says the brokerage will replace the fridge. Now, here's something to keep in mind. It will come out of your commission check, right? It will at the end of the day. But you cannot be the one offering it. It will be the brokerage that will offer it. You will fill out the form, get everybody to sign it. One copy goes to the buyer, and the second copy will go to the brokerage. So based on that, then the buyer will sign the deal and you'll move forward with the deal. Once the transaction closes, it will be the brokerage who will write the check in that amount, and you can then take that check to your client, to your buyer, and they can buy the fridge that they're looking for. So that's an example of an inducement. Now, how does the brokerage recover that money? So basically, what happens in the back end is that it would be the brokerage responsibility to recover that money from the real estate agent. So they will deduct it from the commission check, and the rest of the commission check will go to the real estate agent. But in terms of the technical definition, inducement is something that is offered to close the deal So in this case, it has to be offered by the brokerage. Again, just like an incentive, it also has to be fulfilled by the brokerage. So it's the brokerage that's writing a check for the person to go buy the fridge. And then it will be the brokerage responsibility to recover that money from the real estate professional. Okay. So that's the difference between the two. So inducement is something that's offered to close the deal, and incentive is something that's offered to bring business in. So incentive is offered at the beginning, and inducement is offered at the end to close the deal. So that's the difference between the two.